folks. Craig Lavati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science. This is, of course, the HMNS Beyond Bones podcast. Today, we're joined by, well, I can't believe she's here. Kat Havens, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Kat, we're glad to have you back. This episode, we are talking to Yara Guest, the president and CEO of, I had to write it down because I'm getting old, Make-A-Wish, Texas Gulf Coast and Louisiana, and an old friend of mine, Shelly Milwee. She is the Chief Mission and Strategy Officer for Make-A-Wish. Now, you're probably asking, hey, why is the museum talking about Make-A-Wish? Well, a few weeks ago, if you follow us on social media, and you should be, we had Travis come to the museum. He's a Make-A-Wish kid, and we made him a paleontologist for the day. The whole museum, pretty much between marketing and all of us, we gathered together to make the most amazing day we could for Travis. And this is just the first of many opportunities we want to create for Make-A-Wish kids in this area, in the Texas Gulf Coast area and Louisiana area. And we're so glad that we connected with Yara and Shelly for this. So guys, thank you for coming on the show. Enough of my talking.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having us. We're really happy to be with you all, and thank you to the museum. I wish I could say that our lives have been as exciting as Kat's, with the exception of the teeth being extracted. But I'll take the Olympics. That sounded kind of fun, right? So, but anyway, it depends on how you look at it, right? Because we've been doing some really fun things here at Make-A-Wish. So Kat might be a little envious of our lives too. So
I am.
You guys do such great work, and I everybody, it seems like, and there's a kitty in the screen over there with Kat.
Sorry.
Kat's got cats. I'm distracted like a squirrel. So wish story. Would that be right, Yara and Shelly?
Yeah, I really think it is accurate. It's actually interesting that you bring this up because I was having dinner with a board member last night that, has written a book, and this book is used kind of for financial literacy, and it's used in some of the prisons, and that she's visited some of the prisons, and even the prison population, when she shares her association with Make-A-Wish, will say they know someone that is tied to Make-A-Wish. And so that is interesting that you say that, because literally everybody has heard of Make-A-Wish, knows what Make-A-Wish is all about, including that population. So yeah, I think we all know somebody who's been touched, impacted by the organization one way or another. So
it's Make-A-Wish is one of those things where everybody drops what they're doing and immediately just, what can I do? What do I have to offer? There's not that many charities that are like that, which just immediately people surge to help. And it's that's a beautiful thing about it. I don't know if it's the name or if it's just the recognition that comes with being a part of it, but it's a special thing y'all have going.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we're grateful that the museum answered that phone call for a couple of our wishes. And we are just really humbled by just the amazing partnership and just the great team members that each of you are. You bring such a variety of experience and just a true passion for impacting these kids' lives. And, I will say I haven't gotten a no yet. I mean, when we call on behalf of the organization to somebody that we've never spoken to, most often, 90% of the time, I would say it's yes. How can we do? What can we do? I'm sure there's a no lurking somewhere, but we just haven't gotten it.
There can't be. Yeah.
I can't even imagine there being a no.
I think that's the spirit of Make-A-Wish. And we've both worked for other nonprofit organizations, and I think great organizations, but I think we both just were immediately inspired and shocked in many ways that Make-A-Wish has this power to even engage other nonprofits. And so, you call another nonprofit, they're like, we're there. You call the police, we're there. You call corporations, we're there. And so there's just there is a power of we'll figure it out. Right. And so anyway,
it's like the old, maybe I'm dating myself for this, but it's like Captain Planet, by our forces combined, we're Captain Planet, and everybody sort of just combines forces and makes wishes happen. It's such a, tell us about the history of Make-A-Wish. I know that's probably one thing that just one day, I guess it just popped up, but if you can tell us the story of how Make-A-Wish happened.
Sure. Well, I'll share some thoughts, and then maybe Shelley has some additional ones. So we actually the organization started back in 1980, and it was a young boy by the name of Chris Gracious, age 7, who was diagnosed with leukemia. And back then, leukemia was really truly a death sentence. And he really wanted to be a police officer, and so his mom actually was in night school with someone who was married to someone that was I think a narcotics undercover police officer. Anyway, she just said, look, if there's anything that you can do to give my boy a special wish, just to, make him happy. And so essentially what started to happen was got with the Arizona State Patrol and, made Chris a police officer for a day. He got to ride in a helicopter. He got a special uniform made for him, badge, everything. He is still the only, I think, official honorary Arizona State Patrolman to date. And, sadly, he passed away a few short weeks later. But, what that little boy inspired was his mother and a gentleman by the name of Tommy Austin, who's actually lives in Houston now. He's part of our advisory board. So we're very fortunate to have the two co-founders of Make-A-Wish still alive, one living here and very active with us. They came together and basically said, we can do more of this. And since that day, 500,000 wishes have been granted globally. So it's just amazing. And I mentioned that, obviously he had leukemia, and back then it was, a death sentence, because now his particular type of cancer has a 90% recovery rate. And so it brings me to a really good point in that most people associate Make-A-Wish with just terminal kids. And the vast majority of our kids are not terminal. They are battling life critical illnesses, but 70% of our kids actually live and become thriving, members of our society. And I think that's a really important distinction, because they point to Make-A-Wish as being a pinnacle point in their life and health journey. So yeah, sadly, we lose 30%, and we do not diminish that. And those kids are just as important, and will grant their last wish. But I think it's, important to say that most of the kids live and they're happy, thriving adults. So I don't know. Go ahead, please, Craig.
I was going to say, it also, the one thing that jumped out at me is that they survive, but then it sets them off on this course of public service.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so. Right. I mean, we have a lot of them. You're getting teary eyed just listening to me. She always does. Like, we start talking about Make-A-Wish. We got a lot of
battling.
That's why I'm wearing my glasses today. So it's
I mean, when you're battling something so difficult, even if it's not terminal, doing something that is a dream of yours certainly has to provide some inspiration and some energy, to continue forward in what has to be a difficult part, in life, right?
Yes.
Some distraction from, the, day-to-day, struggle, for sure.
It's like a shot in the arm, really. It's sort of, it awakens something. And I'm sure some of these kids and the parents too, and the siblings, because Travis, the kid that we had a few weeks ago, who we made an honorary paleontologist, his brother, the day before, he also has something, and his brother was, y'all let him, he worked for Union Pacific for a day or something, right?
He did. Yes, he actually got to drive a giant locomotive, which I will say, just from a risk assessment when that file ended up on our desk, we thought, oh, are they really going to let us do this? But they did. And I think that, we had 60 people out from Union Pacific that really brought that together. And we had the head lawyer, general counsel was out there. But we had signed a lot of forms, but it was just spectacular. But yes, so Connor and Travis are brothers, and they do suffer from the same, type of disorder that has put their life in jeopardy. And, you know, we're obviously just really proud to be able to give his family, both of their families, a unique experience that was meaningful to each of them. And so one wanted to drive a train, the other wanted to spend a day with dinosaurs. And so,
it was so cool because you guys, your team brought out a red carpet, which was unique. We don't really have that many red carpets unless there's a gala or some sort of party going on. And then we had Charo, our spokes iguana emeritus, the older guy. He was out front. We had some folks in the dinosaur costumes. We had Chuck. We had Dave. We had Jorge, I believe, all from the Paleo Hall. And then us on the digital team, we were all there taking videos and pictures. And one of my favorite parts was when right before Travis walked in, I had the entire, because it was a Friday, so it was busy. And so I had everybody in the front over there in the lobby. I was like, hey, we got a Make-A-Wish kid coming. And everybody was, yay! Everybody was excited. So he felt, I'm sure he seemed embarrassed by it all. That was the fun part. He seemed kind of like, oh man, what did I do? I just wanted to go play with dinosaurs today. I didn't want to become a celebrity, but we made him feel like a celebrity, and we can't wait to do more. I know that I think we're planning on one later this spring at the Georgia Observatory, right?
Yes, we're going to be there. It's actually on March 31st.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay.
We have a sweet boy, he's 8 years old, named Emmanuel, whose wish is to be a space scientist. He wants to be a space scientist when he grows up. His wish actually was for a telescope. And so we said, well, we'll buy you a telescope. We're going to let you see the real
biggest telescope. Yeah.
And so Kavita, the director over at the Sugarland Museum, has just been tremendous, as well as the couple of astronomers there. Just really we're just so excited. We're going to get to share that. And that's also a great corporate partnership that we have with Shell that's bringing that to life as well, which I know is a great partner of the museum. So being able to kind of marry quite a few different partners around that has been very special to us.
And for all of our YouTubers and stuff, we will definitely have video and photos from all that too.
And hey guys, it looks like Chandler is here.
And now we are joined by Chandler Williams, a special guest of Yara and Shelly's. Chandler, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm very happy to be here.
Now, you came very, very recommended by Yara. Yara, how special is Chandler? What does Chandler do for you guys?
Chandler is beyond special for us. So Chandler's been involved for about a year now. She actually hails from Louisiana, which is, certainly part of our region, but has been living in Houston for a while now. And she is part of our Young Leaders Board. It was just established not too long ago. And so really the Young Leaders Board spin off from obviously our broader board, and really just the need to start engaging young professionals in our mission and in philanthropy and volunteerism. And so Chandler has been at the helm of that group, alongside also a Wish alum that sits on our bigger board as well and partners with her on the Young Leaders Board. And so we're just really grateful to have her energy and passion. And they just granted a wish, the Young Leaders Board, a couple weeks ago, young gal from Texas Children's that just had a kidney transplant. So you definitely ought to ask Chandler about that one, because very, very cool, selfless wish on the part of this young child.
Okay, Chandler, what was the wish?
So Cecilia's wish was to give back, which is a very special wish. You can wish for anything in the world, but Cecilia decided that she would like to give back toys to the children that were on the same hospital ward that she was in. And she actually got to go and deliver each individual toy bag to each kid on the kidney ward. And it was so selfless of her, and she had her makeup done that day. I was so excited. And Cecilia, I have we met her, we put together the bags. She is actually incredible. And that was our very first wish to grant and raise money for as a Young Leaders Board.
So she was kind of like a Santa Claus, like a Mrs. Claus type situation going on, but glamorous, it sounds like. A glamorous
Exactly.
Mrs. Claus, Miss Claus. Yes.
Exactly.
I don't know what we're doing with the Mrs. Claus thing right now. I don't know what's up. So Chandler, what are you're obviously you're a part of a group of younger people who are really, pounding the pavement, and you're making names for yourself, obviously in your own industries, but you're also trying to energize a younger base here. How exciting is that? You're sort of taking on, I guess, the next generation of Make-A-Wish.
For sure. And I think that one moment you experience when you've worked so hard raising all this money, because the average cost of a wish is $10,000. And so when you work towards raising $10,000 and you succeed, and then on top of that, you get to go see the wish be granted in person, it's an indescribable feeling.
I bet it's it's probably a great recruiting tool too. If anybody that you're trying to recruit for the board, the junior board, is sort of like, I don't know if I like this. It's like, no, come and watch this. Bring a hanky and come watch, and then tell us you don't want to be a part of this. So I guess this is a question for everybody. What are some of what's been the most unique wish that you guys have granted for kids? Besides being a paleontologist at the Houston Museum of Natural Science.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty cool, because it really reminded me of Ross Geller, right, from France. Because I'm like, the only other paleontologist besides Ross Geller that I've heard of. So I thought it was kind of unique. But what do you have, Shelley?
Well, one that immediately comes to my mind is one that we just granted this last summer. It's a 10-year-old girl who, her name is Melinda. And during the pandemic, she was trapped at home. Obviously, most of our kids are highly immunocompromised. And so they were really insulated from the world, and probably had been far before any of us had. But she started painting in her home. She loved abstract art. And so she had kind of a basic painting get up. And so her wish was she wanted new art supplies, and she wanted to display her art somewhere. And we thought, well, that's really genuine and sweet. She's 10 years old. So we got our creative heads together, and we actually partnered her with an amazing abstract artist here in Houston. His name is Edgar Medina. He spent 2 months with her teaching her how to paint. And they curated 13 pieces of art together that was built on the 4 seasons. And so we then called up our friend over in River Oaks. Her name's Laura Rathie. She's got a great gallery. And said, Laura, is there any way we can get these paintings on display and give this little girl her own private art exhibition? She said, sure. I'm moving all my artists around, and I'm going to have her artwork in the front window. We're going to have it on display for 2 weeks. So then I called Clear Channel Outdoor, because I thought, well, we got to tell people, how can we really put her art on display far beyond that? And they gave us 17 billboards across the city of Houston where we had Linda's artwork on display for 3 months. It was something like $10 million worth of in-kind media exposure they gave us. And so I think, what I share is that wish was so precious and so meaningful to her and so genuine and just simple. And then we started making some calls, and people just came up with the biggest vision I've ever seen. And, she's got her own Instagram now. I think she's like, her career as an artist has truly been launched at the age of 10. I'm like, where do we go from here now? Mm-hmm. But just really incredible, sweet girl. And I just, that one will forever be in my mind.
I remember
That's amazing. And it's so amazing how selfless people can be, with their time, artist-wise, and all these different people coming together to make this happen in a way that she probably could never even imagined, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that you guys could never have imagined. It just sort of builds upon itself. It's really touching, and I'm getting...
Yeah, I can see you in your window over there. You were starting to get a little busted up. That's the cool thing about what I've learned about Make-A-Wish just through the grapevine, and just... because I had a friend growing up that he was a Make-A-Wish kid, and him and his whole family went to Disneyland, which is the one on the West Coast. Disneyland? I never remember.
Disneyland is West, and Disney World is Orlando.
That's right. Okay. He got to go to Disneyland, and he's still around. He's 40 something now. He's a little bit older than me, and we thought we were going to lose him, and he's still around. So, Cody Williams, I don't know if you watch this or not. Cody, that was you, by the way. And what I love about this, and I'll let you guys chime in too. Make-A-Wish is almost like if you were really a big fan of Overkill, that's sort of like what it is, where it's like, oh, you want to be an abstract artist? That's cool. We'll set you up with 2 months with an abstract artist. Oh, and by the way, your art's going to be on 17 billboards across the 4th largest city in America. Is that cool? So I love how Yara and Shelly, I'm sure you could attest to this, the ball starts to roll and wishes become giant movements almost.
Yeah. I think, what I'll tell you is I always say this about Make-A-Wish. There is a transactional component certainly to Make-A-Wish, right? You're going to grant the wish at some point, and that part is going to be behind you. However, it doesn't, the actual experience and the memories and, the communities that Make-A-Wish brings together, and bringing a family together, and quite frankly, even bringing a clinical community together that a lot of times is burdened by disease and illness and all of that. When you've got this pinnacle point where it's all about happiness, where it's all about joy, that lives on forever. And so I would say too, the power of Make-A-Wish is taking something very simplistic and building on it and creating something so beautiful. And so you've got this wish where it's a child that's saying, I just want to be an artist, or, I just want to take some lessons. Or we had one girl that just wanted beautiful senior photos because she had lost her hair from cancer, and then her hair grew back. And then all of a sudden, in comes Make-A-Wish, really in comes Shelly and team, because Shelly just takes things and I don't know where they end up going. And all of a sudden, this gal is on the cover of a magazine, and she's page spread, and she's all over the place. And I think now Ann Taylor wants to do an ad with her, and she's gone from I just want senior pictures to I'm a model, and she's beautiful. She looks like a model, so it works. So anyway,
I'm feeling like we should have done more at the museum. Now we should have actually named a dinosaur after Travis. Like,
it's not too late.
It's not too
I know.
late.
I'll make a call after this. I'll make a few emails after this. So, Kat, you have to go to bat with me for that one. But
I will absolutely go to bat. I can talk to Dr. Popper. I bet you he will name a dinosaur after Travis or something he finds.
And you brought up, that it brings different communities together too, guys. But that also lives on in those communities as well, and they want to keep on doing their own work too. It's just, if we could all live, this is going to sound corny, and y'all can, throw batteries at me if you want, but if we could all live like everybody's a Make-A-Wish person, that's the goal though. We need to make sure that everybody's treated like this, even if they aren't sick. And
I can't help thinking, and it keeps going over in my brain over and over again, what great medicine, like, for everybody involved, for everybody around them, for, of course, the child, but just everybody. What an incredible healing, probably, that joy and that kind of fulfillment brings.
One thing I did notice too, Kat, and I think you've seen some of the footage from that day, was the parents. We had Travis's parents there and his grandparents, and they even looked shocked that we had gone. And I'm sure that you guys also see that too from the siblings and the parents.
Oh yeah, we definitely do. And I gotta say, some of the days that we fight back the tears the most are the ones when we get handwritten notes from parents that say this experience changed everything, not just for my child, but our family. We needed this reprieve from the endless treatment schedule, and so those are the days that we really know we're having an impact. I mean, me personally, just as a parent, it hits you in a different way. It just, to see what you're able to give these families.
when you know how much as a parent yourself, how much that child in their well-being is everything, and just seeing your child be fulfilled and happy, even if it's for this amount of time when they've struggled so hard, has got to be such a gift, you know? Ugh.
Yes.
I'm going to just be sitting here crying all the time.
I've just been watching her the whole time we've been doing this. Like, I got my glasses on, so my eyes are hidden, but Kat's doing this, like, this thing over here.
Scanning her eye.
Yeah.
Tears are welcome. And, I'll say this, please come out and visit, anybody that has, that wants to come in for a tour. We have an amazing space here. We love to walk people through our building. We kind of have our own mini museum here, right?
Yes,
it's like
do.
20,000 square feet out here in Sugarland.
Big.
And we've got, maybe 200 or 300 kids on display, and we're able to tell you their stories and, just be in a really fun environment. We also have a park that has AstroTurf, and the walls are painted, and we're a very fun place. So we invite you out to come for a tour, anybody that's interested in visiting and learning more.
What's the age range usually for Make-A-Wish? Is the cutoff at 18, I guess?
So 2.5 to 18 years of age
Okay.
Are the groups that we serve. If we might hit 19 if a kid, is typically waiting to meet a celebrity or something like that, and we'll still grant the wish, obviously, if they've gone above the age of 18.
So around 18 or 19, I'm sure those wishes can get a little bit kind of like, really? You really want to, like, what are some of the ones at 18 and 19 that you've seen?
Actually, we're working on one. We are doing a wish. The next YLB wish that we're working on is to go to college and assist with college.
Okay.
And
Okay. I was just saying, teenagers are a little, like, hey, I want a new, car. I want, 6-pack of beer. I don't know, but
They'll
just saying,
surprise
like,
you. They'll surprise you.
I know, but the college thing, that's special too.
That's
Sorry.
cool.
Yeah. The
So who are the
college-
celebrities that usually that you got that work with y'all too? I know that I've seen kids that wanted to meet The Rock and people like that.
Yeah, we do quite a few celebrities, so we have those for sure. Car makeovers, like car wraps and that kind of thing. We have a lot of selfless older kids as well, right, that want to do things for, so the one that Chandler and the Young Leaders Board did with Cece, Cece's 17 or 18? Cecilia, is she 17 or 18?
She just turned 18.
Yeah, so
she was 17.
you've got some of those, I want to give back type of wishes in that age group. So
And shopping sprees. Those are really popular when you can give a kid their own stack of money and say nobody can tell you what
nobody
you
can say
can't buy.
no today.
You can go in and buy anything you want.
Right.
Those are really popular.
That's great. And it is special to hear too that they're not just wanting something for themselves; they're giving back to the generation behind them.
Yeah.
Oh, we have some. We have a kid right now, and I learned about it yesterday. And hopefully I won't cry saying it, but it's a 3-year-old little girl whose wish was to have her brother in her hospital room because of COVID.
Oh.
The protocols and things like that wouldn't allow him. He's 12 years old, her brother. And it's, her one true wish was just have my brother with me. And sadly, she's one of our rush wishes. And so we know we have a limited amount of time to grant her wish. And brother's in that room. Right. We were able to do that and work and make that happen. That's a different kind of wish. That's not something that money can buy. Those are kids that want to give their parents watches, just so that they can remember, they have something to remember them by. Those are the ones that it changes your day, changes your day, your outlook on anything.
I like the one you bring up the ones that don't. It's not necessarily a monetary thing. That's a deep wish. That really does hit you in the feels. That kind of stuff too, because it's one thing to want to meet your favorite celebrity or something, but the fact that these kids are cognizant enough to understand that they want to give something that will live beyond even beyond them, an emotional thing. That's
well, and I'm sure being young and having an illness or something that's so life-changing gives these children something beyond themselves, maybe in years, you know what I mean, of understanding that might take longer otherwise, different outlook or perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we see that on a daily basis where we're just scratching our heads going where, just you've got kids that are wise beyond their years, old souls. Yep. And then, we're griping about some basic things that, we were with a group last week. It was construction leaders, actually. So a very different industry, and just telling them your perspective completely changes when you work for Make-A-Wish, when you volunteer for Make-A-Wish, get involved with Make-A-Wish, because your perspective, and I mean when you're constantly involved, right, with Make-A-Wish, your perspective really changes, especially when you see these kids that are just happy-go-lucky and paying it forward, and you're complaining about how your coffee's too cold or how you woke up late, which incidentally happened to me today.
Yeah, it teaches you perspective and gratitude.
Yes, your gratitude meter goes way up.
Really.
So
yeah.
Well, how can people locally here in Houston support the Texas Gulf Coast and Louisiana Make-A-Wish mission?
Sure. Yeah, there's a few ways. So we're coming up on World Wish Day. It's on April 29th. It's a kind of a big icon moment for us. We have a lot of activities happening throughout the month of April. So I would say a couple ways. One, we need volunteers. Our volunteers are the lifeline of our organization. They meet with families. They help discover wishes. They bring them to life. So
you need more Chandlers. We need more Chandlers.
We need more Chandlers.
Oh, yes.
And one thing that Chandler does that we really love is that she actually helps fundraise for some of our wishes, which is critical. I know she mentioned, kind of average cost of our wish, but for us, it's usually around $15,000 for us to bring a wish to life. And so we need a lot of corporate supporters, individual donors, anybody that's just passionate about getting behind our mission. And then finally, I would just say more people like yourselves, community partners, corporate partners that have great networks that want to add to a wish or enhance a wish. Maybe meeting with a family is a little bit too hard for you, right? It might be too close, and some people can't handle it emotionally. We'll come out and, just let us share some wishes with you and see where you might be able to lend your network. Because those connections are, you can't buy that. So practically, how do you get in touch with us? That's probably what you're looking for. Is our website is wish.org/TexGulf. That's TEXGULF. And we've got all of the information on there, and all of our contacts, our staff, Yara and I, and all of our information is out there, so you can reach out to us there.
Cool. Well, Yara, Chandler, and Shelly, thank you for jumping on this Zoom with us. And we are very motivated again to help you guys out. And I can't wait for the next Make-A-Wish kid that comes through our doors at the museum and the George Observatory. And I'm going to make sure that now they're going to have a butterfly named after them. We're going to make it work. I'm a Santa in training, so you guys don't understand how much I love helping out. And also too, like I said earlier, this just makes mankind even more stronger, and we need more people out there granting wishes for each other. So we love it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. And give to Make-A-Wish time, service, anything. They definitely need it, and it's good for everybody's soul.
Thank you.